All right, let's go over really quick how to play the two-player version of Flock Together. So all the rules are basically the same. Main changes is going to be what these health dials are set at. So to set up the game, you are going to place the game board in the center of the table. You are going to shuffle all the bonus cards, put them up here on their designated spot. This spot right here is a discard pile. Next, you are going to shuffle all the Predator books. You're going to grab 3 of them out, turn them to their first page. You are going to grab a 4th. Do not look at who it is and put them up here where it shows final. You're going to put a health dial next to each one of them, and you're going to set it based on the starting health of the villain. So you'll see it's the number of players times 2 for this page, which is why it's at 4, because as I said, we're showing a 2-player game. You are going to shuffle up the grub cards. You are going to place an even number in each spot. There's 24, so you're going to do 12 in each spot. This space up here that shows the grub icon is the discard pile. Then every player is going to get a colored cheeple, and they are going to place it in the coop. You are then going to shuffle each weather deck and put them next to the board. We like keeping them in stack, but I'll separate them out for this tutorial. After you shuffle them, you're going to grab the first card from the spring, place it here, and that is your weather card for this weather phase. You're going to place the weather vane token on the number 1 spot. You're going to fill the resource trays with the heart tokens, with food tokens, with egg tokens, and with the chicken dice. You are going to give every player a player board, and here's a little cutout to signify their reminder of what color they are. You are going to randomly give each player 2 chicken books, and they're going to choose which character they want. They're going to turn it to this very first page. You'll see this little icon down here signifies it's the first page, plus with this being the only thing that's highlighted. You're going to set their health. In this instance, you're going to look here, so that is set to 3. You're going to see if they have anything that they start with. Annie Yoakley here does start with an egg, so you're going to grab an egg, put it in her egg reserve. You're going to choose a first player and give them the first player token. You are also going to grab these extra action tokens and put it with flame side up to show that it is currently active. You are now ready to begin. Before I explain fully how the game works, let me kind of go over this player board. So this is your health track up top. When you go ahead and take damage, you're just going to flip one of these over to the other side. This is your hero book. So this is their name, and this is what level they're currently at. There's 3 different levels for each one. This is their production up here. These are their special abilities. The ones that are highlighted are what is available presently. This little number in the basket is how many meals you need to have before you can upgrade. Down here, you'll see all the different actions we're about to go over throughout the game. And then this will be where you place your food. All right, so a couple of things. So this is a cooperative game. The game is going to end when you defeat all 4 predators, and every member of your team is alive when they are defeated. You are going to lose if at any point all players are dead. If the 3rd season concludes, which is fall, and there are still predators that have not been defeated, or if 1 or more players is dead when the final predator is defeated. Again, this is the final predator up here. So, and then let me touch on these. The food tokens, even though they are different shapes and colors and whatnot, these are all just significant of food. There is a variety. Same thing with the eggs. Eggs are eggs, no matter the color. Looking at the die, you are going to notice this chicken face. The chicken face is the 6-sided, so that's the 1. Your 2 are the feet. Your 3 and 4 are the wings, and your 5 is the head. You are going to notice that there are different locations on the board. You have the coop, and this grub shows this icon. This is inside. This is outside with the grass. You have different locations where each of the predators are. This grub is adjacent to all of the outside locations. And you'll notice that is also on this player board. These 3 have the coop icon. These 2 have the outside. So these can only happen outside. These can only happen in the coop. In addition to that, I already mentioned that this shows the age of your chicken. As you notice, as you go up, the symbol changes, and we'll get into that a bit more as we go ahead and cover down here with the action row. So the game is going to take place over 3 seasons, spring, summer, and fall. And then it's going to be 7 days of each of those seasons, or 7 rounds of each of those seasons. There will be an egg exchange and weather. This does not happen in the first round, as you've already set the weather. I'll get into that when we get into crossing that threshold. So a turn structure is as such. Each player will start when they take their turn by doing their production. When you are a chick, your first level, you are going to produce a food. So you're simply going to just grab a food and throw it in your food reserve. In future ones, you are going to have a possibility of doing egg production. When you do that, you are simply going to roll the die. And if you get a 2 through 6 in this instance, you would get an egg. But once you are done with your production, you are going to move into where you have 2 actions. There are these 8 possible actions at the bottom of your board. You may repeat actions. I will say that you have the opportunity to get bonus cards, and some of the grubs give actions. These are considered free actions. The only thing that costs one of your 2 actions is along the bottom of your player board. And then once per season, you may use your extra action token to take an extra action, typically your 3rd action, and you would just simply flip that over and it will get replenished at the beginning of the next season. So let's go over these actions. First one is lay an egg. You gain an egg, but you'll notice this little symbol down here means you cannot do that when you are a level 1 chick. You need to level up before you're able to lay eggs. But otherwise, laying eggs would be simply grabbing an egg and placing it in your egg reservoir. Next up is healing. So you can pay 1 food per heart you want to heal. So if I was like this, I would simply pay the food and flip this back over to healthy. You are able to do this once when you are the chick, twice when you are level 2, and 3 times when you are level 3. Again, paying a food per heart, so you need 3 food to heal 3 hearts. Brood. So this is if another character has died, you can do Brood. You're going to pay 1 to revive another player, and you are going to skip your next turn. When you revive a player, they are basically going to get a whole brand new everything, a new character, etc., and they'll start at a chick level. I'll kind of go over that when I go over if someone dies and then reviving them. So again, all 3 of these need to be done in the coop. You have move, and move is to a different location. So this is simply going to be grabbing your cheeple and moving to a different location. So you can move from the inside to one of the various outside locations, or from the outside back into the coop, or from the outside to another outside location. Next up is draw a bonus card. You have a hand limit of 2 bonus cards. That is simply going to be drawing one of these bonus cards and putting it next to your board or in your hand, and you'll now have access to this ability of what it does. In this instance, you can return 1 egg to the supply, then either gain 2 food from the supply or flip one of your damaged health tokens over, and then this would just simply go to the discard pile. Next is you can attack. So you pay a leaf per fist, only possible on nearby enemies. So you'll see that we start with 1 fist, so it costs 1 food to do an attack. When you do an attack, you have a couple different options. If you are in the coop, your only option is to attack the grubs. This is considered nearby. So you would simply have to, so in this instance, if I do 1 attack, I would spend 1 food to do the attack. I would roll a die. I did not miss my attack, so they would do 1 damage. So in the instance of this, you'll just throw this on to signify that they have taken a damage. If you defeat a grub, you are simply going to take it and place it over here in your area, and you'll now have access in the future turn to use their special power as a free action. So in this instance, is your forage action produces an additional food until the next weather. If you are out in these locations, so if I was here when you attack, you can attack either here in this instance, Professor Multiarty, or these outside grubs here are considered nearby to all of the outside locations. So when you attack a villain, same thing, you're going to be spending the food based on how many power you have. But in the instance of them, when you do them damage, you are simply going to rotate their dial down the denoted amount. They are then going to do damage back to you equal to what their hand is. So in this instance, 1. So we'd flip this over 1 spot like so. And then if they have any effects, you would trigger those, such as Professor Multiarty, his attacker skips free food production until next egg exchange. Salmonella will have you being rolling the die and possibly triggering something. Same thing with Eggsmeralda. Next up, we have Eat. That is, you are going to pay food to increase your meal counter. You can do it 1 max when you are young, 2 max when you are at level 2. And again, you can only do this outside, so that is simply going to be you're going to turn in food to increase your meal counter. When you do the first one, you're going to simply place it in the 1 spot, and then every subsequent meal you get, you'll just move it over to the next spot. Eating meals and increasing your meal count is how you are going to upgrade. So when you upgrade, you are going to see if you've reached the designated spot, in this instance 5. Once you do, you are going to flip over your board to the next level. You're going to notice you now have an extra ability, a new meal number to level up to. Your meals do not reset. You will stay there. So now you got to get up to 11 to upgrade again. Your maximum health may change. So in this instance, it's up to 4. So you would simply add another heart. You do carry over any damage you sustain. So if you wanted to just do it like that, that way your health's at the end, you can do so like so. Your possible changes to your strength. So now you're doing 2. So if you do attack for 2, you would have to pay 2 food. And then the production change, as I already went over with the egg. The final action you are able to do is forage, which is when you're outside, you simply go ahead and just gain a food. Now, getting back into when you are attacking these villains, if their health counter goes down to 0, you have defeated them. When you defeat them, you are going to flip to their last page, and they are going to give a loot drop, and whoever did the last hit is going to get this loot drop, which will again then give you a special ability that you'll be able to use again as a free action. So once everyone has taken their 2 actions, then you're going to move you're going to then discard one of the grubs face up from either of these piles. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the lizard. You then will move to the next round. When you cross these specific areas, so between rounds 2 and 3 and 5 and 6, 2 things will happen. You are going to do an egg exchange. An egg exchange is you simply are going to exchange 1 egg for 1 food. In addition to that, you are going to draw the next weather card, having that go into effect. So in this one, foraging requires 2 actions. A card's weather effect will be in effect until the next weather. So when this went into effect in round 3, it's going to be in effect for rounds 3, 4, and 5. When you go into round 6, you'll draw a new weather card, and that will be in effect for rounds 6 and 7. At the end of a season, all predators that are still around are going to increase in level. You're going to flip them to the next page in their book, adjusting their hit points as indicated. So now it is times 3. So this would go up to 6. But again, if they had had any damage, so if Esmeralda was down at 2 and she would be going up, then she would only be getting 2. So she'd be staying at 4. You then bring yourself around. You are going to do an egg exchange and another weather card. In this instance, though, you'd be into the next season. In this instance, summer. So you'd flip over the summer card. And again, being able to do that egg exchange as such. You also, at that point, will flip over your extra action token if you had used it to its active side. For the final villain, once you have defeated all 3 regular predators, you then are going to move into the final predator. You are going to flip them immediately to their final form. And you're then going to set their health dial at, you're going to increase it by 3. So in a 2-player game, it'd be 2 players times 7. So they would be at 14 health in order to be defeated. So again, you're going to be playing throughout the seasons until you either defeat the final boss and have everyone alive when you do so, or until the game ends with everyone being dead, the seasons have gone through and you haven't defeated everyone, or you defeated them and someone has died. In this instance, let me go over death. Death is going to happen when all of your health has been depleted, whether by bosses attacking you, weather events, etc. But once all your health is gone, you have died. You are going to discard all of your food tokens. You are going to discard any eggs that you have. Any bonus cards are going to get discarded. grub cards, and your meal counter all go away. You do keep any loot drops you have collected, and then you need one of your teammates to revive you by taking the brood action. When you do come back to life, another player must choose that brood action, pay an egg. That player must skip their next turn. When play comes to you, after the brooding player skips their subsequent turn, you draw 2 new chicken books, select one, you select a new one, coming back as a chick, starting with your turn, and then playing the game as normal. So there you go. That is the basics of how to play Flock Together, a 2-player. Like I said, the only main difference is what you're going to set the health dials at. But beyond that, everything is the same, 1 through 5 or 6 players if you have the expansion. So if I could go ahead and get you to head down below and hit like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring that bell. If I could also go ahead and get you to check out the link to Miniature Market. The Miniature Market link will allow you to purchase games and have a portion of those sales come back to this channel to help fund what we are doing here. Alrighty, so get out there and be in charge of your flock.